Okay, so today we've got the ddpai Mini2 Dashcam. Also got the hardwire kit. So let's go over what we've got here. Our fancy unboxing. I have not unboxed this yet, obviously. Still got the shrink wrap. So alright, so we have infinity something. Dump the whole thing out if we can. Alright, we got a piece of microfiber cloth. That looks like an envelope with some instructions. User manual. Okay. Looks pretty good. Just at a quick glance. Shows that it comes with the camera, of course, a sticky pad, a remote button. Number 4 says another sticker, and USB charger and a cable. Alright, well, that's fancy. We have, of course, the camera, what we're here for. Looks like it's got a removable cover here. Has a little tether so you can't lose the cover. And there's your SD card slot, and not sure what the second one is. We'll have to, oh, that's just the lock for the cover. So this is just your access to SD card cover and the reset button as well. Looks like it's got a micro USB slot right here, and it does not rotate a full 360, but it's pretty darn close. So you can mount it pretty much anywhere you need to. And of course, protective lens cover. We'll just stick that back on for now. And I guess that's a big speaker. And here we have a button. And I guess you can hang that on your keychain or something on the dashboard. And or you could stick the button wherever you want. It's a couple millimeters thick, kind of foamy rubber, double-sided tape for that button. Let me pull this out the rest of the way. Of course, your desiccant, you don't want to eat that. And this is going to be our cables. Okay. We have a car charger. It does have 2 ports in case you wanted to charge your phone as well. You've got one for 1 amp and one for 2.1 amp, so that's kind of nice. You can actually quick charge your phone. Then you've got a nice long cable. It's got a right angle adapter on the camera end and just a standard USB plug on the charger end. And we have a second. So it actually does come with 2 of these foam pads for the button. And then this looks like a trim removal tool, so that's very convenient to help you pop apart your dashboard or other trim panels to hide the wires, and possibly to remove the adhesive. Okay, next we have the ddpai hardwire cable, which is apparently compatible with several different ddpai models. So we'll go ahead and pull this guy out. There's nothing else in there. Okay. Looks like it's all written in Chinese. Unfortunately, I can't read that. Car DAVR exclusive power box. It only has 2 connections at power and ground, so it does not detect whether or not the key is on or not. It is an actual ddpai accessory. It's not just a generic one. Okay, so yeah, it just has accessory and ground. And it does have some small vent holes. And on the other end, you've got a micro USB. Although it's a pretty simple installation, just constant power and ground if you're going to hook it up for power or for parking mode, which is what I do plan to do. Alright, for now I have this plugged into a 2 amp phone charger on my desk. And let's go ahead and pop in an old 16 gig SD card that I've got. It is class 10, so it should be fast enough. Alright, close that down, and we'll plug this in the correct way. Alright, let's look around and see if we have any LEDs or anything. Oh, there's an LED.
Hello, ddpai.
Okay. Hopefully we'll be able to turn that off. Okay, the light just turned sort of purplish white.
Memory card is initializing.
It is
Initialization completed.
But there are no buttons on this camera. There is just this wireless remote button, which has, again, no wires. It just has a small sort of leather strap here. And, well, that was a pretty significant bump. I guess the G-sensor is not on by default. So, let's turn that sideways so it could be recording the wall. We'll press the button. I guess we'll turn it so we can see the light and see what happens. I'll click the button. The camera made a sort of shutter sound and presumably locked the file. Well, we'll see what that looks like later on when we review the files. Next up, I guess we'll have to try the app. Alright, let's talk about the ddpai app now. Here we are in the Play Store. I've got the camera just on, recording the wall or the desk. So let's go ahead and install the app. Okay, it's installed. Let's open it. We'll have to allow all the preferences or permissions, or it won't work. Even though, I don't know why it's asking about phone calls, but it says we need it. And we need location, supposedly. Alright, so let's add a camera. Yeah, I actually found it. So let's add it. Looks like it jumped back on my home network. Fail to add camera. Alright, this is a common complaint in the comments. So let's see. Yep, it's on my home network now. So first, let's go disconnect from the home Wi-Fi. I'll just, I don't want to forget it, I just want to disconnect it. So there's the ddpai network. Let's try and connect to that first and see what happens. Okay, connected, no internet. That's fine. I don't expect to have internet on the ddpai. So let's try again. Add camera. Fail to add camera. Okay, another thing I've heard people suggest is to turn off mobile data. No, not Wi-Fi. Network. Mobile data. Turn it off. Okay, so let's go back to the ddpai, add camera. Okay, well, there you go. You can see it's recording the desk. I can put my hand in front of it, and it's a very slight delay, but it's not bad at all. And so then let's get out of the preview. And file list, well, it doesn't have anything in there. Do I even have an SD card in there? I do have a memory card in there. Okay, so at the bottom we can go to the Me section. First, let's move this little. Okay, and here's where you would go to do the settings on the camera. For example, you can change the language that the camera uses. You can change the camera settings itself. You can rename it. You can change its password, which the default is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Camera volume all the way up. Microphone recording, video with snapshot. That's basically when you press the button, it'll save 30 seconds before and 30 seconds after, or 20 or 10 or off. Then video with snapshot, we just did that. The resolution, you can change it to 2K, 1080p, or 720p. And advanced settings, remote control pairing is where you connect the button. Date and time display is just whether it shows up on screen in the video. The startup sound, that's where it says hello ding ding pi. So we turn that off, and now it'll just be totally silent in startup, and the only thing you'll see is the orange light. Parking mode video, you can set it to time lapse or normal. Battery protection for when the car is off. The camera will automatically shut off after a certain amount of time. 6 hours is reasonable. You can flip the image left and right. I guess you can use it in mirror mode. Is that what that is? And the G sensor sensitivity is pretty standard. I never once had it trigger on me during my testing. So then under camera storage management, right now you can see where there were some recordings on there. Apparently on July 12th I drove a lot, and so it recorded a lot. You can also click the format button right up here to erase the memory card if you wanted to. I don't want to do that just yet. So let's go back. Camera information. You can see that it even shows my phone logging in right now. The camera has been on for 10 minutes and it's got version 3.5. So I believe this is also where you would go to update the firmware, but that I never could get that working. So alright, so app advanced settings. This is intelligent network switching. They say to turn that off if you have connection problems. Allow saving the operating data. It's recommended to turn on the switch that your operating data will be saved automatically to the cloud. So if you've got unlimited data and a fast connection, then you could do this here. Time format, well, that's just, you can choose however you want to format that, or just let it choose based on your phone. Your measurement system, you can go metric or imperial. And the cache is just a little temporary storage. Auto download snapshot is literally it downloads the clips to your phone once it connects to the camera. Terms and privacy, that's just your bad network, please try later. Oh, so it has to connect to the internet to get that. Ironic. Alright, so messages and leaderboard here have to do with their social network. I'm not going to do that. That's what this on the road stuff. You can see where people have submitted their own clips up to the internet. But I don't know how it's even showing that since I don't have an internet connection right now. If I go back to the camera and the file list, there are snapshots which are not downloaded yet. Well, download them. Well, there's a video, apparently from well, you can see it flies through very quickly. That's quite surprising. It must have some sort of thumbnails going on there. Looks like I'm at a drive-through somewhere. Driving at night, the gym, in the driveway. So all kinds of stuff there. Driving in the rain. Let's just click one of those and see what happens. Looks like it's going to play it from the camera to the phone. And there it is, leaving the drive-through in the rain. So if I wanted to take a snapshot from that, it looks like I could click here, yep, take a snapshot. And download that clip to download the image or the video to my phone. Simple enough. So let's just pause that. We don't need to go through all that playback. But it is possible to play these back on your phone. Looks like it's trying to decide whether to go to landscape or not. So the emergency clips don't have any there. I select, they're an unselected. So, fairly simple app. There's the two screenshots I took from inside the app. Where was the, I don't care about a downloaded file list, I want the, so there's a screenshot I just took, and it looks like you can zoom in and get really good detail. You can see all the individual bricks and even some texture on the bricks. Easily read that sign, make out different makes and models. There's this Lara convertible, looks like a Camaro or maybe a Camry, Dodge truck, Chevy truck. So maybe another black RAV4. But pretty good quality there, considering looking at all the detail of the rocks and the leaves and flowers. So that looks pretty nice. Alright, and then I guess that's pretty much everything we need to know about the app. Just for grins, I'm gonna hit the button. I hear a little camera shutter sound. Now for the pros and cons of the ddpai Mini 2. First, the pros. It's got a compact, stealthy form factor that hides easily behind the rearview mirror. Gives you clear 1080p, 30 frames a second video both day and night. It can also do 1440p at 25 frames a second. Comes with a wireless button to take photos and mark video for later review. It's got Wi-Fi so that it can work with both Android and iOS phones. Supercapacitors instead of a LiPo battery, so you don't have to worry about the heat or the cold. It can use up to 128 gig micro SD cards so that it can store lots of video, and it's got optional parking mode if you hardwire the camera. Of course, nothing's perfect, so let's talk about the cons. In 1440p mode, some outdoor lights can have a strange flicker, but this is purely cosmetic. It's not going to affect the recording quality at all. However, sometimes connecting to the app can be difficult, and at times the phone will just randomly connect to the camera's Wi-Fi, and then you lose your internet connection while you're driving, so that's no good for streaming music or using GPS and that sort of thing. And because of the app connection difficulties, it can be difficult to update the firmware on the camera. However, that is something that happens very rarely, so it shouldn't be an issue for most people. So for about $70 on Amazon, you're getting what seems to be a pretty reliable, stealthy, and good quality dash cam with Wi-Fi and a handy wireless photo event button. The button is especially handy when the camera is mounted at the back of the car where you can't reach it. With respectable day and night quality and an optional parking mode, it checks all the important boxes for a dash cam. So if you own a smartphone and you want a dash cam, then yes, I recommend the ddpai Mini 2.